The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WinBet. Bet $100 at WinBet and get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WinBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. The NFL kicks off this week and get ready for the season with the 32 NFL team previews from the Sports Gambling Podcast. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NFL previews. And the free roll football contest is back and better than ever. $5,000 up for grabs in our NFL contest and $1,500 in our brand new college football contest. Sign up exclusively in our Discord channel, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford. I am in Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast coast of England. Today is Sunday, September the 4th, and we are here to handicap a slate of 13 MLB games for Monday, September the 5th. I know he doesn't like saying this, but it's an old man special tonight. We have one co-host, and it is Mr. Munaf Manji, who hosts every other show you've ever heard, so why not? Munaf, how are you doing?
Doing well, Malcolm. What's going on, buddy? It's Sunday, Labor Day weekend here, but you and I were talking offline. There's not enough hours in the day. Let's just say that, just because there's so much going on in sports right now. We know, like you mentioned,
it's insane, honestly.
Starting, and we had soccer all weekend and baseball. Obviously, we're grinding that away, and I'm watching WNBA playoffs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's fun, but sometimes it's difficult to keep your head above water, but we're doing our best.
Yeah, I feel like I need a team of experts helping me out. You need a checklist because you've got, obviously away from baseball. So the football this weekend was the EPL. Newcastle and Liverpool both played 0-0 draws, didn't they? So that wasn't particularly exciting. We were absolutely sawn off at the knees by the referee. Unfortunately, you gave one of the most disgraceful decisions in the history of sports, at the risk of exaggeration. So that wasn't very exciting. Football's been going, and obviously I play some EPL fantasy stuff, and then I'm in the middle of two NFL drafts. I'm playing a 2-quarterback league, Munaf, and I missed the boat on the quarterbacks. And my 2 quarterbacks are Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson. What do you think of that?
Oh, God.
Really?
Oh, no.
We had to set some keepers. And my keepers were really good, like between rounds 3 and 6. Cooper Kupp, Debo, and Jalen Waddle. So I had a really good, but that meant I had no picks from rounds sort of 2 to 7.
Okay.
So I got a couple of running backs early. By the time round 7 came along, there was nothing left. So yeah. It was, and then I had to toss a coin between Zach Wilson and Jared Goff for my second QB. So, and then in the baseball, this is the last night of the regular season in the DGen League. Mm-hmm. And I went into the weekend 3rd, and I think I'm going to come out tonight in 7th when 6 people make the playoffs. I have absolutely shit the bed moon off in this fantasy league. Cody Zebra's hunting me down for a place. And then Sheba as well has also hunted me down. So I think we're all going to finish on ties. But on countback, I think I'm going to finish 7th, having got into the week 3rd. So I've completely and utterly bottled that one. And then on top of this is my last thing I'm going to add. My picks have been absolutely horrible since about Wednesday. I've been busy. I've been working. I've had, like you say, football and stuff going on. And I just feel like I haven't had enough time to look at them. Given the 2 options, you need to give me some advice here of either putting out picks that I haven't really invested a lot of time in or not giving a pick out. Which one do you think I'd be better off doing? Because what I've been doing is having a little look, maybe a 15-minute look at the whole card, giving out 2 picks, mate, and they've been absolutely dog shit. At that point, would you just not give out a pick? Because I feel like my thought process was, if I threw out some, I might just, the old blind squirrel in the nut technique, I might just go 1-1 or something and kind of stay under the radar. But it hasn't happened. I've gone 0-10 since Wednesday. I've been miles away.
Yeah, and I say this on a lot of the pods that I do actually like guest appearances on, where they're talking about just general sports betting overall. And I say the books are always obligated to put out betting lines on sports that are happening, but we have always the option of not having to
Yeah,
bet those games. So just to answer your question, I would probably look in the direction of, hey, if you're not comfortable giving out picks, or you haven't done your proper handicapping or whatever the case might be, don't put out picks. I mean, there's been occasions where I was dealing with things, whether it was with work related or with SGPN or with personal things, where I wasn't, my head wasn't there and handicapping the games, and I didn't want to put out bad quality picks. So there's something to be ashamed about, or to tell yourself, hey, I'm having a rough few weeks, I'm having a rough week, I'm gonna take a couple of days off and get back to it whenever you do have the proper time to handicap. Because we know, Malcolm, especially in a game where in the season that we cover with MLB, there are, how many games are there? Like 2,000 some odd games
yeah.
in the season, and it's gonna happen. It's a ride. You go up and down, so there's no reason to beat yourself up over it. I've had bad weeks too, and you had weeks where you've been absolutely on fire. So it just happens.
Yeah, it's just like when we put that graphic up and your name's blank, or your little
Yeah.
squares are blank on there. It's not a great feeling. So yeah, I've had more time on my hands today though. Like I say, I worked late Thursday night, worked late Saturday night. Went out with my dad, took my dad out for his birthday on Friday. So
There we go.
yeah, lots going on. But
I have a big question.
Okay, hit me.
Are your bags already packed?
Well, and this is the other thing I think, Munaf, that has unquestionably been front and center in my mind. I've been trying not to bore everybody else senseless with it, because no one wants to hear about my trip. They're all like, the kids go back to school on Monday. Like,
Okay.
everyone's back at work. Everyone's having a miserable time. The weather's turning colder, and I'm on the cusp of a trip of a lifetime. On Wednesday, I head out on probably the thing I look forward to most. For God knows how many years. So yeah, not packed yet. I've got a lot of my admin done. I need to go and do some emergency shopping tomorrow. Yeah, the IT department will pack the bags anyway. She's in charge of all of that.
Okay.
I need to get my hair cut and tidy my beard up so I look a little bit less homeless when I arrive. So I'm going to tidy myself up tomorrow, do a little bit of personal admin. But yeah, oh mate, I'm incredibly excited. In 24, so 72 hours from now, I shall be in Las Vegas, Nevada, trying
Look out,
to trying to keep my head above water till the following Tuesday. I've got 6 nights to survive, and then B, flourish and prosper. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to meeting the boys, Sean and Ryan and Terrell and Cousin Mush and whoever else is going out there. Looking forward to some sportsbook action. Looking forward to some shenanigans and some eats and drinks and a couple of beers as well. So yeah, I'm really excited, mate.
I am going to do my very best to get out there. I know I told you that I have some things going on that I need to take care of first, but as of today, I'll give a
don't tease me.
I'm gonna put at minus 175. I'll be there at least for the weekend.
Oh yeah, I've just told you I can't pick a winner. I'm not going to put $10 on you at minus 175. I'll take the other option. Yeah, don't let me down, Munaf, man. Yeah, exciting times. Even my Survivor picks, I need to get them sorted out. I listened to your podcast, like I said last week, and tried to plot my way through, and I just don't know what to do either. I've changed my mind about 53 times. It's sort of like the sleepless nights. I wake up and I've just got like visions of the Jets badge or the Panthers badge flashing through my head. Like, you've absolutely poisoned me, the lot of you. The SGPN has got a lot to answer for, Muna. The lines that we're going to give out tonight, there's a few games off the board. The place to find all your best lines is at WinBet, our headline sponsor here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WinBet it's a perfect time for new customers with the NFL coming up next weekend. If you bet $100, you'll get a $100 free bet, and the casino open 24 hours a day too. You'll get 100% deposit, up to $1,000. The first quarterback to throw 5 touchdown props are live as well. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com winbet is the place to be, so they know that we sent you. Offer subject to change. T's and C's at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. The free roll football contest, I'll tell you a little story about that in a moment, Muna. College football contest, $1,500 up for grabs. In the NFL contest, $5,000 in a 2-night stay at the Wynn Las Vegas. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/discord. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/discord. Sign up through our Discord channel for those. Absolutely brilliant. And another great new sponsor here, the Elias Sports Bureau. What a great to listen. You'll probably be familiar with some of their work. The Bureau are the official statisticians of US pro sports leagues, including the NFL. So you can access team and player stats, head-to-head team comparisons, all that sort of stuff, using the Elias Game Plan app, which is a great companion if you're betting or playing fantasy for NFL, NBA, and MLB. Everything you really need to know. NFL season, don't wait. Download the Elias Game Plan app. We've got a 14-day free trial of a monthly subscription plan, where if you use the promo code SGPN. So that is the Elias Game Plan sports betting in the App Store or Play Store today, and use the promo code SGPN. We'll get to the baseball in about 30 seconds. Before I tell you, I have already crashed out of the college football contest, Moodaf. I'm gone, dead. My 10,000 shares are no more. I told you I was having a bad week. That's another example of me having a bad week. I had no idea what I was doing. I discussed this with Dylan, I think, on the pod last week. So what I did, I took two teams on massive spreads, like minus 30-odd favourites, and I played the dog. So one went down on, I think it was Friday or Saturday. Then I had UTEP last night with 31.5 points, and they lost by 32. So I put $5,000 on each of them, so that's me gone. So that's some fewer competition for everyone. If you're going to enter the free roll college football contest, you no longer have to beat me, because I am finished. So yeah, that made me giggle when I woke up this morning. Oh, bloody hell, here we go. Right, okay. Monday's card, 13 games. We have one double header. I think we've only got 3 of these games off the board. Oh, sorry, the double header and 2 others. So we've got 9 games with full line. So lots of stuff that we can get our teeth into. We will start with. Labor Day, Moonaf, quickly. What's Labor Day?
There isn't like an exact definition. It's just like a holiday for pretty much like labor. Like I'll read you the exact definition.
Well, I could have worked that out, Moonaf.
It's pretty much. That's just what it is. Like, there's no special.
What do you mean for labor?
So it's pretty much Labor Day. It pretty much indicates like the end of the summer. It indicates the end of the summer and beginning of the school year, but.
Right. Okay.
School here, like you mentioned, your kids are going back to school tomorrow, but I think school usually here starts like around August. My sister-in-law is a teacher, and she went back, I think, like the second week of August. But if you want to go by definition, it signifies the end of the summer and kids going back to school, and then celebrates the socioeconomic achievements of American workers, meaning everybody that's in the labor force kind of gets a day off just to have a weekend. It's like Memorial Day and things like that. So it's just to recognize people in the working force and labor that just get a day off. So that's pretty much the official definition of what Labor Day is.
Okay, fair enough.
Now, if you want the dumbed down version, it's just another American holiday.
Yeah,
we just take the day off.
The British version would be everyone goes to the pub on Sunday and gets out their tree, knowing they can stay in bed on Monday. So that's why I was asking this, because there's lots of day baseball, which there not normally is on a Monday. So that now makes perfect sense, Muna. The first kickoff is a 12:35 Eastern. First pitch, and it is the New York Mets at the Pittsburgh Pirates. Taiwan Walker going for the New York Mets, and Mitch Keller gets the start for the Pirates. I'm just pulling my page up with these lines on. The Mets are 2-1 on, minus 200. The Pirates are plus 170. The total here is set at 8.5. Moonaf, you can lead us off.
Yeah, the Mets are struggling a little bit here, Malcolm. They lost today I think they lost their last 2 games, if I'm not mistaken, against the Washington Nationals. I'm trying to pull it up here. Let's
They got battered 7-1.
Yeah, and they had I forgot who was on the mound for them today, but yeah, they got batted 7-1. I had the -2.5 on the graphic today.
It was Carlos Carrasco, and he lasted 2 2/3, I think.
Yeah. And I know I saw Max Scherzer on Saturday leave the game early. Well, there was Friday or Saturday. I forget which game it was, but they lost both their last games against the Nationals 7-1. But in this game, like you mentioned, Taiwan Walker is on the mound. He's 10-3 on the season with 3.45 ERA. Last 5 games, 1-1 with a 6.98 ERA. But that ERA is a little inflated just because that one game he had against the Atlanta Braves where he did give up 8 earned runs. But other than that, he's rebounded very nicely for the New York Mets. But unfortunately, they haven't given him much run support. They've lost his last 3 straight starts. Only provided 5 runs of support to him over the last 3 starts. And he's faced some quality opponents, right? He's faced the Braves, he's faced the Yankees, and he's faced the Dodgers, where he's pitched really well for them. On the other side, it's Mitch Keller, 4-10 with a 4.43 ERA. Last 5 games, 1-3 with a 4.70 ERA. I think the one thing that kind of sticks out to me, and we've talked about a lot on the pod, is that Mitch Keller's a player that I want to fade at home. He's 0-6 with a 4.81 ERA. So if there was going to be a spot for the Mets to, kind of shake off these wins against the Nationals that they suffered on Saturday and Sunday, it has to be this game against the Pirates. I mean, we saw the Blue Jays come into town and win the series and just taking care of business against the lesser opponents of the National League. So I think this is an opportunity for the Mets to win these games against the Pirates because, again, the Braves are they're right there on the door knocking on this division, Malcolm. I think they're now only 2.5 or 3 games back are the Braves in this division. So now Mets going up against the Pirates. I'll take the run line on the Mets here at -1.5, -120 against Mitch Keller, who is winless at home.
Yeah, so the only off-putting thing here is the kind of the form that the Mets are in. It's a little travel spot, not a huge issue. I've actually got written down, and I don't often pick this, is Pittsburgh on the run line. I think the Mets might scramble home because that's kind of how they've been going about things lately. They've been scuffing along a little bit. I think Pittsburgh had a decent win again today, actually. Pittsburgh can throw in the odd surprise victory. They actually lost to the Blue Jays, but
they gave them a run for their money today.
And that's a great example of exactly the kind of game we're looking at. In fact, Jordan Romano pitched really well, actually, and got the Blue Jays out the shit a little bit. In the bottom of the 9th there. So this is a template of what I'm looking at tomorrow, is that exact game is Pittsburgh with the 1.5 start to keep it close. The Mets might just fall over the finishing line. So give me even money, Pittsburgh on the run line. Take a little bit of a different tack into that one. Next up, we'll tackle the double header. Both games are off the board, but we do have some pictures, so we can give you some info without necessarily giving you any picks on it. The 2 games of the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. The pitchers in game 1, which is a 1:05 Eastern first pitch, are Kevin Gausman and Jordan Lyles for Baltimore. Game 2, I have Jose Barrios and Michael Baumann is going to be get a spot start for Baltimore. So, yeah, no lines at all on this one. Game 1 is obviously the eye catcher in terms of the starting pitchers. Kevin Gausman and Lyles. Gausman is 10-9 on the season, a 3.14 ERA, 140 in a third with 164 strikeouts. Lyles is 10-9 with a 4.25 ERA, 152 in 1/3 with 123 strikeouts. Gausman's been relatively unpredictable in his last 5 starts. He's had 2 bad ones, 2 good ones, and a sort of nothing middling start. I do have a little bit more trust in him than Jordan Lyles. Toronto are actually playing quite well at the moment, although Baltimore, until today, Baltimore got turned over. I think that was my run line pick, actually, Mood. If you said your Mets got absolutely bad, I took Baltimore, who lost 5-0 to Oakland. So before today, Baltimore, both teams were on a decent winning streak. In fact, everyone except the Yankees in that division just keep winning and winning and winning. I think the Yankees have got one today. But Tampa had won 4. Toronto have won 3. Baltimore had won 4, and Boston had won 5. So, yeah, Jordan Lyles' last 2 starts have been great. This is quite a close one. Toronto will be favourites. I lean Toronto here. But without any lines, I don't want to give out too much info. The second one is a bit weird because Jose Barrios has been horrible for the Blue Jays. 6.92 ERA in his last 5 starts. And then Michael Baumann, we don't know what we're getting. He's not appeared in the big league since June. He's only pitched 12 innings, 9 strikeouts and a 4.50 ERA. So he hasn't got late overall. So I just had no feel for this game at all, Munaf. What I'd need is a number to take the over, possibly, because you expect, but there's no reason why Berrios won't give up more runs. Again, a decent offense in Toronto going up against Baumann as well. You expect runs in there, but I do expect the line to be high. So I lean Toronto in the first game. I lean over in the second game, but I've got nothing else on top of that. Did you have any feelings on this one, Mina?
No, I mean, Jose Barrios has just been a guy that you probably want to fade on the road. 3-4, 6.48 ERA. Is this in Toronto or is it Baltimore? I'm sorry, I didn't even ask.
It's in Baltimore.
Yeah, so Jose Barrios, I mean, like I mentioned there, 6.48 ERA. He did have a good outing against them earlier this year. He went 7 innings, allowed 3 earned runs, but and that was actually at home in Toronto for Jose Barrios. So not much else for me there, Malcolm. I think that this is a spot for just wait for the line and see how it plays out, but definitely won't be backing Barrios, especially on the road. Okay.
We've got lots of fun new sponsors here, Munaf, on the show and on the network. Fubo TV is another one, Fubo TV, which is, if you're a football fan, Fubo TV is great. Complete coverage of college and pro football and NFL Red Zone. I'm a big Red Zone man on a Sunday night. Plus games in 4K, no extra charge. Over 100 channels of live sports and entertainment. It's a fraction of the price of cable. You can watch it on all your devices, so you never need to miss your favourite show or a game again. With the cloud-based DVR. There's no contract either, no commitment. You can cancel at any time. If you can try Fubo TV free for 7 days, get 15% off your first month. Go to FuboTV.com/SGP. That's FUBOTV.com/SGP. The promo guys as well. Promoguy.us is the place to be. They're going to sort you out with all your bonuses to make sure that you get the best value for your money. They'll track all the promotions, bonuses, opening offers, things like that. Risk-free deposits, $1,000 odds boosts, and the best analytics in the business. Loads of free picks as well. Promoguy.us is the guy to betting smart. That is promoguy.us. And finally, Sleeper, the fantasy platform, which I am currently checking about every 3 minutes for the drafts that I'm doing. I assume you have your fantasy league on there, and we've told you for a little while now about this over or under game. But next weekend will be the time to start playing it on the NFL. It's integrated into your fantasy experience. So if you, for example, you want Derek Carr to throw 3 touchdowns and he's on your fantasy team, you can click the button next to his name. You can select your stake, and you'll be able to bet on that player prop. So it's really good fun. And like I say, it's the first thing that is linked to your fantasy experience and integrated. What you need to do is go to sleeper.com/SGP. Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100. Our promo code is SGP. Sleeper.com/SGP for the $100 match bonus. T's and C's apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. 105 first pitch is the Minnesota Twins at the New York Yankees. Chris Archer gets the start for the Twins, and on the hill for the New York Yankees will be Jameson Taillon. Lines are Minnesota plus 155. The Yanks are minus 180. The total here is set at 8, Munaf. New York eventually got to win today. They need to put a little run together. Yankees can hear the footsteps. Can they get this one done tomorrow?
Footsteps, or do you think they're actually knocking on the door now?
It's loud footsteps. They're coming up the path, Munaf. That's where they are.
Yeah, it's down to a 5-game lead. I think that was a big win for the Yankees today because if they would have gotten swept by the Rays, that would have only been a 3-game lead now for the Yankees. But they do get the victory on Sunday. It's a 5-game lead now. Yeah, like you mentioned, Chris Archer and the Twins come to town, who they're also in a battle of the AL Central themselves. They're going to get a victory over the Chicago White Sox, but the White Sox do take 2 out of 3 for them. But now Chris Archer headed to Yankee Stadium, 2-7 on the season with a 4.52 ERA, 81 strikeouts and 45 walks. Last 5 games, he's 0-2 with a 6.04 ERA, and on the road this season, 0-4 with a 4.87 ERA. And he's faced good offenses over his last 2 games. Went up against the Astros in Houston, where the Houston tagged him for 5 earned runs in 4 innings. And then he faced the Boston Red Sox in his last start, where the Twins did get the victory, but he did give up 4 earned runs to the Red Sox in just 4 1/3 innings pitched. So, I mean, you talk about this, or let me get to Taiwan here. He's 12-4 on the season with a 3.97 ERA. Last 5 games, 2-2 with a 4 ERA. Has faced Minnesota once earlier this year, where he did go 4 innings and gave up 4 earned runs in those matchups. He's a lot better at Yankee Stadium, where he is 6-2 with a 3.73 ERA. And the Yankees have won 2 straight starts in which he has started for them, putting up runs of 7 and 13. Eventually, Malcolm, this offense for the Yankees at some point has to turn it around. It's pretty much been Aaron Judge, and that has been pretty much it for this Yankees offense. Now you have Chris Archer coming into town. Is this an opportunity for them to get a victory here and then that offense to break out? I think so. I think this might be the spot for the Yankees here. I know Taiwan hasn't been so great since the All-Star break. You take a look at his splits since the All-Star break, 2-2 with a 4.24 ERA, where before the All-Star break, he was 10-2 with a 3.86 ERA. So I'm going to put some faith in the Yankees here. I do like their team total over in this game, Malcolm. It's a minus 180 price right now, but I would possibly look at the Yankees run line in the first 5 innings with Chris Archer out there, because we've talked about a lot that he only goes about 4 to 5 innings for the Minnesota Twins. So I think that they can get to him early. So Yankees first 5 run line for me, and their team total in this game as well.
Yeah, I just thought this might be a little bit of a slow burner, Munaf. I don't mind Chris Archer. Like you say, you don't get much length out of him, unfortunately. But both offenses are kind of scuffling. Minnesota have just gone off the boil a little bit recently. They don't kind of do an awful lot for me, Minnesota. They just don't do a lot. They're very, very bang average, in fact. And they haven't got a great road record at all. They're very heavily relied on their home record. So the Yankees would be the lean. But I came down on the under here. This is what I often say look, I'll take the under 8, but it's going to be a push. This is going to be New York are going to win this 5-3 or something like that. So I'll take the under, and then I'll happily accept my money back when this lands exactly on 8. So 2 decent pitches. I do like Archer. So maybe a first 5 under might be a way to play it as well. But I've got the full game under written down, and I'll stick to my guns there, and accept my money back when this pushes on 8. A push would be a great result for me at the moment. I'd be absolutely money in the bank. A push. I had a friend send to me once, I hope I break even today. I need the money, which was a great line. I mean, the option of not having a bet wasn't one he was prepared to take. But yeah, wanted to break even. For Tennyson, first pitch is the Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays. Michael Wacker is going for the Boston Red Sox. Tampa Bay are officially TBD. I've got Luis Patino going for the Rays. So this game is off the board with no pitcher for the Rays. I'll give you the pitching stats in a lean, but Michael Wacker's record is now 10-1. Impressively, 2.56 ERA, 95 innings and 76 strikeouts. Patino is 1-1, 3.95 ERA. He's only pitched 13 2/3 with 7 punchies. Michael Wacker's been fine. Like I say, that record's up at 2-1. His ERA's been great. He's only given up 4 earned runs. Sorry. He's given up 4 earned runs in 2 of his last 5 starts, including, crucially, 2 starts ago. against the Tampa Bay Rays. So I think he's kind of. I wasn't buying him last week, and he's done enough to prove me wrong, actually. But I think Tampa Bay can get to him. And Patino, this is his first start since July the 23rd. Sorry, his first start since July the 23rd was last week. He managed 5 2/3 scoreless against Kansas City. Where Patino's had a problem is his Ks per nine have been horrible, around about 4.5. And his walks per nine aren't far off the same number, which is never a good sign. But there's a lot of hope to be taken from Patino's start last week against Kansas City. We did mention that all the teams in that division were rolling along a little bit. Obviously, Tampa Bay have lost today. But before that, we're going along a bit better. And I do think Tampa Bay need it more. I think Patino can go well tomorrow. And I would take a little bit of a punt. There might even be a dog. This could be a pick and moon off, actually. I've got a real hard to feel where these lines might come out. You can maybe give me a steer towards that one. But I'm going to lean towards Luis Patino and the Tampa Bay Rays on the money line.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the Red Sox on the pod, is that they struggle, and they have struggled this season against AL East opponents for whatever the reason is. I mean, you take a look against the Yankees this season, the Red Sox are 6-7. Against the Tampa Bay Rays, they're 4-9. Against the Toronto Blue Jays, the Red Sox are 3-13. So outside of the division, they've been great, but for whatever reason, all the teams in the division have actually owned the Red Sox. And even against the Orioles, the Orioles are 7-5 against the Red Sox. So Michael Walker, you mentioned, he's been pitching absolutely great for them, but you mentioned there that he did face a Rays. Yeah, he struggled against them. He's, despite being 2-0 this season, he does give up the runs to them. I understand that the Rays they need the win, or they do need the wins, right? They're in that wild card race. They're trying to hunt down their Yankees in the division there. If I had to take a pick in this game, I would probably look at taking the Red Sox run line in this game. And then I just feel like that if the Red Sox are down in this game, and if they get out to an early, you might want to come back and take a look at the Rays live. I think that you're right. This might be closer to a pick 'em than an actual huge line that we're used to seeing with the Red Sox. Just because Michael Walker, like you mentioned, has just been going around really, really good for the Red Sox, especially he's like, 4-0 over his last 5 games. Tricky one without a line, but I'm going to lean. I'll lean with the Red Sox run line in this game. And then if they do get ahead, I'm going to come back and probably look at the Rays live, but I don't think that does any justice for the listeners. So gun to my head, I would probably go Red Sox.
Red Sox. I know this is of no interest to anybody in the world except me. But sweating this final playoff place live in the DJs League, I've just gone back into 6th place, which will get me a playoff spot, because in the other game, Ryan Gilbert's whip is dropped to 104 and Sheba's whip is at 105. So I'm literally sweating out on one swing of a bat. Is going to see me finishing 6th and 7th. So I'm excited if nobody else is. Come on, Ryan, you can do it for me. Next, I did give a pick on that game, didn't I? 4:10 Eastern first pitch, the Milwaukee Brewers at the Colorado Rockies. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee and Ryan Feltner will go for the Rockies. The lines are further up the page, I reckon. There they are. Milwaukee are -155. Colorado +135. The total here is set at 11, Munaf. We like taking Colorado at home. Quite a big price here tomorrow. Do you fancy them?
Yeah, I'm not sure I can get behind Ryan Feltner. 2-6 on the season, 5.78 ERA for the Colorado Rockies over his last 5 games. 1-3 with a 5.81 ERA. He has actually, I mean, to his standards and his ERA this season, he's been pretty good. But he, at least over the last 2 games, I'm sorry, is what I'm trying to say. He faced the Mets and the Braves, and he allowed 3 earned runs to each of those teams within, I think, the first 5 innings or so before he got pulled out of those games. But at home this season, he is, 2-2 with a 5.52 ERA. And again, Freddie Peralta, he's come back for the Milwaukee Brewers, 4-3 with 3.56 ERA. Last 5 games, 1-1 with a 2.08 ERA, and on the road, 30 innings pitched, has only allowed 9 earned runs. And we talked, a lot about if we want to throw the stats out the window when you're going into Coors Field. I think the Brewers need this game more than anything, right? Because they're faltering a little bit. They lost some key games to the Diamondbacks. They're still in action on Sunday afternoon, and now you have to travel from Arizona in the desert to the Colorado Rockies altitude. Oh man, that it's just a travel spot. It's kind of throwing me off here, especially it is being an earlier start here during the day. I'm gonna I'm gonna go Rockies run line. Give me the +1.5 minus
Oh, wow.
125 in this game.
Okay.
It's just a travel spot there, Malcolm. If they had a day off in between these games, I would take the Brewers. But from them going to Arizona to Colorado into altitude, I think the Rockies and they've been shocking some people. They've been competitive in some of these games. So I'm going to take the Rockies +1.5 minus 125.
As a side, I actually came down the other way, but -155 didn't really interest me on the Brewers just because Colorado are always a little bit better value at home. What my handicap revolved around was Freddie Peralta, really, and how much he's been improving. He looked slightly, you could have been worried for him when he first came back from the injury, but not recently. I think he's been great. It is a small sample, but he's had 2 appearances at Colorado in his career. One of them was only a third of an inning, so we scrap that. But the other one, he pitched 5 2/3, scoreless. Struck out 13. I know Noah often talks about the kind of pitcher that will struggle to throw maybe their off-speed stuff or what have you. In that, I think Freddie Peralta will just turn up and throw gas tomorrow. So I've only just picked up on that little stat as well, that 13 strikeout start in Coors Field. So what I actually came down was the total on the under, because I think Freddie Peralta can limit Colorado. And they do have a good bullpen as well. So if Freddie goes well, I don't expect that pen really to struggle either. Devin Williams can come in and they'll just they can keep it to under 11. 11 looked far too high behind Peralta, who I've been following lately, and I think can go quite well. So that would be my play there. 4:15 Eastern first pitch. The Washington Nationals at the St. Louis Cardinals. Anibal Sanchez goes for the Washington Nationals, and Jack Flaherty is back for the St. Louis Cardinals. The lines are, I just had money lines earlier. Oh, actually, I've got a full cart of lines here. Washington +205, St. Louis -245. Total set at 8.5. Moona, Flaherty's back again. What we expecting?
Yeah, Jack Flaherty gets back for the rotation here for the St. Louis Cardinals. I think it's a great time for him to be back. Hopefully he's able to stay healthy. I know he missed time over the past 2+ months with the shoulder issue. He had some good minor league starts in his rehab starts for the St. Louis Cardinals, but I'm not sure this is the exact spot that I want to get behind Jack Flaherty, especially coming back from an injury. At a $2 price, I usually avoid those games until I do see how he's looked, because he could come in and just have some control issues and things like that. Just being back off of the IL, especially when you're dealing with a shoulder thing, right? But I think the more important thing here is we talked a lot about Anibal Sanchez and then just kind of fading him, but he's actually been pretty good over his last 3 games here, Malcolm. In his last 5 games, he's 1-1 with a 3.08 ERA. He did face the St. Louis Cardinals earlier this year, where he did get blown up for 6 earned runs for in 5 2/3 innings pitched. But on the road, despite being winless at 0-2, he does have a 3.72 ERA. So he's been going along pretty well. I think the issue with Sanchez has been that he needs to keep the walks down, because he's allowed at least 2 walks in 5 straight starts. In 2 of those games, he gave up at least 3 walks to the opposition. Shockingly enough, the Nationals have won 4 straight starts when Anibal Sanchez has started for the Washington Nationals, and over the last 3 games, the Sanchez and the bullpen has only allowed 1 run in each of those past 3 games. And I know it's been against the A's and the Mariners and the Padres, but I think that it seems like he's kind of found some form here. I don't know. This is a little tricky game for me. Again, the Nationals went into New York. They took 2 out of 3 from the Mets. Can they continue it here against the Cardinals? It's a possibility, especially with Jack Flaherty coming off of that IL. tricky spot here. I know the Cardinals offense has been really good. I'm a little reluctant here, Malcolm. I'm going to go with the run line here on the Washington Nationals +1.5, -120. I think Sanchez could get it done here. I think maybe if you want to look at the first 5 inning run line for Washington Nationals as well, I think that's a possibility for the Nationals in this game as well.
Yeah, it's interesting play. It's Lane in the chat is siding with you as well, Moon, after either the first 5 for the Nats. I mean, people are still crediting me for resurrecting the career of Anibal Sanchez by fading him on the run line for his last 3 starts. I mean, it's like Dr. Bamford will see you now. If someone's got a problem with the game, I can sort it out. All I've got to do is fade you. And he suddenly turned into Sandy Koufax. So what I've got written down here, this is the least helpful handicap. Sanchez, who knows? Exclamation mark. Flaherty, also, who knows? Exclamation mark. So the answer is not me. You can't take St. Louis at that price. Obviously, Flaherty's a great pitcher, but he's been up and down like a bride's night with these injuries this season. So you can't take the -245. You'd be mad. So which leaves you to either the total or one of these Washington plays. I thought the over 8.5 was a possibility because, like you said, the Cards' offense is good. I do expect. I'm still not having it on Sanchez. So I expect them to score a few off him. And you say Washington have been more than competitive over the last few nights as well. So Washington could put 3 or 4 runs on the board and help us get over that total of 8.5 too. Next up, 6:40 Eastern first pitch, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Diego Padres. I think this is the final game that is off the board if these games were handicapping tonight. The D-backs pitcher will be Ryan Nelson for San Diego. I've got Blake Snell going for the Padres tomorrow. They play Sunday Night Baseball tonight, which is probably why they are off the board tomorrow. Ryan Nelson, name you're probably not hugely familiar with. It's going to be his debut tomorrow. Hasn't pitched in the bigs. He was just outside the MLB pipeline top 100 pitchers. It's going to be a fastball curveball combo. That's what you're going to get out of Nelson tomorrow. Apparently, it's quite the term I've heard used as explosive for his fastball. So he could be a fun watch here. Blake Snell for San Diego, 6-7 with a 3.87 ERA, 93 innings, 124 strikeouts. He had a bad start 2 outings ago against Cleveland, but he's been generally good and he has been improving. He was another one, a little bit like Freddie Peralta earlier on, who when he first got back from injury, looked a bit wobbly and then all of a sudden he's just improved. This does look like a good spot for San Diego. I know I was kind of tempted a little bit with the rookie move off. How many times this time last year did we jump on a rookie pitcher not seen and get them over the line at +180, +220, those kind of prices? There's another one later on that we can talk about in the Houston game when we get to that. I just couldn't really pull the trigger. Yeah, it's a good spot for San Diego tomorrow. They're going to be very, very short price, so I'm kind of relieved this game's off the board because it gets me out of having to make a pick. Moon. A, do you know anything about Ryan Nelson? And B, would you be looking to play that angle again that served us so well last year?
Yeah, I think this is maybe a spot where, number one, we talk about pitchers coming up in September that we don't have a lot of information about, or even the opposition or the opposing teams don't have tape and a scouting report on these guys, and that's where you can take advantage of those prices. And again, another point being, like you mentioned, that San Diego is going to be coming off that game against the LA Dodgers on Sunday Night Baseball. So that's a spot that we've talked a lot about fading. So they're going to have to travel from LA to San Diego. It's not a big trip, obviously, because it's in California. But again, how do you kind of get up for the Arizona Diamondbacks, right? Just because they are one of the worst teams in the National League. So for me, I would probably look at the Arizona Diamondbacks direction. And I think that I would take the plus money here with Diamondbacks, just kind of fading these San Diego Padres, again, going up against a rookie pitcher, and also just coming off that Sunday Night Baseball game where, that intensity is up anytime you're facing the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, I think it's certainly worth a punt. And I think over the next 4 or 5 weeks, we'll be looking at a lot of these rookie pitchers that come up just to see if we can get one or two fancy prices over the finish line. Albert Pujols has just hit another dinger, according to Lynn, to put the Cards 2-0 up over the Cubs in the bottom of the eighth in that one. Miles Mikolas has gone 8 scoreless there. The Chicago White Sox against the Seattle Mariners is his 6:40 Eastern first pitch. Lance Lynn for the Chicago White Sox and Marco Gonzalez, the lefty, will go for the Seattle Mariners. Lines are close. Even money for the Chicago White Sox. Plus 100. Seattle minus 120. Total is set at 7.5. The White Sox have had quite a lot of airtime, both on the podcast and in our little chat room the last few nights, since I believe you and Noah talked them up on Thursday or Friday night when I wasn't on the show. And yeah, they're going along nicely. Lance Lynn is 4-5 with a 4.70 ERA. Has pitched 84 and 1/3 with 91 strikeouts. Marco Gonzalez is 10-12, 3.99 ERA, 146 and 2/3 with 80 strikeouts. Lance Lynn's been rolling. His last 3 starts have all only given up 1 earned run, and you're getting good length out of him as well. No reason why he can't perform again tomorrow. Marco Gonzalez has been steady. He is what he is. That number, the 3.99 ERA, the Ks per 9, you're going to get, that's what you get out of him. He's unspectacular, but you can kind of rely on him to replicate that stat line all the time. Before the Sunday games, say both teams are going well. Mariners had won 6, the White Sox had won 4. I trust Chicago and Lance Lynn a little bit more here. Just it's a marginal feel of Lynn over Gonzalez, probably like half a run in it, nothing more. But at the prices, Chicago White Sox is going to be my pick at plus 100.
Yeah, this is a big series for both of these teams, right? We talked a lot about the White Sox, like you mentioned, with them now being in the hunt for the AL Central, and the Mariners have been playing really good baseball. They're in that driver's seat in the AL wild card race for a playoff spot there. So big series is going to be a lot of fun to watch. You mentioned Lance Lynn has been in great form over his last 3 games. The one area he does get into trouble a little bit is on the road, where he is 0-3 with a 5.59 ERA. But 2 of his last 3 starts, like you mentioned there, Malcolm, have actually been on the road, where he went into Cleveland 5 2/3, only allowed 1 earned run. And then he went into Camden Yards in Baltimore, 6 innings pitched, only allowed 1 earned run as well. So you're right. I think he's finding his form here a little bit. Hopefully he can carry that against the Seattle Mariners team. Marco Gonzalez, like you mentioned, he's just been steady. I think that's the perfect word for him. He's kind of, keeping the ship abroad, I guess we can say, for the Seattle Mariners. He's 4-1 over his last 5 games, 4.13 ERA. At home, the record is, let's see here, 6-5 with a 3.46 ERA. There's something too when we talked a lot about the White Sox, especially last season, that they were doing well against left-handed pitching. Is this one of those opportunities for them? I think so. I kind of like the spot that they are, the recent form they're in as well, right? I think there's a reason for them to come out and play well, because they know that they are in that AL Central division race now against the Guardians and the Twins. So they took 2 out of 3 from the Twins. I think they can go to Seattle, at least still game 1 here against the Mariners. So I agree with you. I'm going to take the White Sox in this game as well, behind Lance Lynn.
Yeah, the fact I put the White Sox up today as my pick, and for this game on Monday, we were laughing because you and Noah believe that I'm just trying to jinx your White Sox pick, don't you? And I'm not going to deny it, Moonaf. There was quite a lot of that involved. I thought I needed to break the streak. And the only way I could think of was a bit like the Anibal Sanchez thing, was to pick them myself. And sure enough, I've managed to. Did they lose today?
They did lose, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. I needed to do it. Sorry, Moonaf. It's a dog world, and I had to do. Sometimes you've got to do what you got to do. Run your pool. I know, Moonaf, you commission a load of stuff over there. It's a home of competition, bringing sports fans and all of our social circles together to compete and connect. Loads of stuff going on: pick-ins, survivors, fantasy pools. It's a one-stop shop for sports gaming with loads of customizable features. We have teamed up with Run Your Pool to host a pool for the SGP and NFL Survivor contest. It's $500 in cash and $250 gift certificate to the SGP and store to the winner. Go to runyourpool.com. Play.runyourpool.com/SGPN. That's play.runyourpool.com/SGPN. You'll get in there with all the other DGens and try and win a few quid. Odds Trader, another fantastic tool as well that you could really do with using. Odds Trader will firstly compare odds from all the major sports books, as well as give you all different sign-up codes for all your promotions and bonuses. So you really will get the best bang for your buck if you do those two things. Once you're up and running, you've got your money ready to go. You've got things like player stats, key game stats, injury reports, game day weather, so you can make the most informed bets possible. Live scores, play-by-play updates, and the Bet Tracker. Bet Tracker is a great tool as well, so you know where you stand, how you're getting on with your bankroll. Go to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. Odds Trader is the #1 site for all of your game day bets. Next, we have 4 games left to handicap here on the MLB Gambling Podcast. This is a 7:10 Eastern first pitch. This is the Texas Rangers at the Houston Astros, where Martin Perez, lefty, will go for the Texas Rangers. And Hunter Brown, the pitcher I alluded to slightly earlier, will make his debut for the Houston Astros. Texas are plus 140. Houston are minus 165. Total here is set at 8. I think you might be going to this game, Munaf. Tell us about that, and then tell us what you know about Hunter Brown.
Yeah, the wife got tickets from work, some free tickets. So we're going to be out there for the game between the Rangers and the Astros. Martin Perez, like you mentioned, 10-5 on the season, 2.89 ERA, 144 strikeouts, 54 walks. Last 5 games, he's only 1-3 with a 4.82 ERA. And it's crazy to think that this is already his 5th start against the Astros this season. He just did face them back on August 31st earlier this week, where he gave up 5 earned runs to them and 5 innings pitched, went on to lose that game 5-3. Astros covered the run line in that game. And, you know, the kind of take a look at the left-handed WRC plus numbers against left-handed pitching for the Houston Astros over the last 2 weeks. And the Astros are top 10 in that category at 122. And I think just having that familiarity with Martin Perez and being in the same division and just seeing him for the 5th time, I think that's an edge for the Astros. You mentioned it. Hunter Brown is going to get the start here for the Houston Astros. He's coming out of their AAA minor league system. He posted a 2.55 ERA in the AAA system for the Houston Astros. He has a 31.5 strikeout rate percentage in 106 innings pitched for the Houston Astros system there. Control is going to be the key for Hunter Brown because he, as great as he is striking batters out, he has a really poor walk rate percentage, which is at 10.6. And if you kind of go through his game log, he does give it up. He's given up at least 2 walks, and I think I want to say 7 out of the last 8 starts that he had in the minor league system for the Houston Astros. Strikeouts are there as well, but I don't know, Malcolm. I think this is a spot I'm going to back the Astros here. Give me the hometown team. I think that we talked about earlier where it's difficult for teams that really don't have tape on pitchers that they haven't seen. I think this might be one of those spots. Astros have faced, like I mentioned, Martin Perez 5 times this year, and over his last 2 starts, they've beaten them and they've covered the run line. So I do like the Astros here to take care of business against Martin Perez and the Texas Rangers.
My entire handicap here, Munaf, came down to the prices. So I love to take the new kids, love to take the rookies, like we talked about, for the reasons you just mentioned. Often a lot of value to be had in them, like there will be on Ryan Nelson with the D-backs tomorrow. However, there's no value here at minus 165. I don't know how you can play a prospect who might have nerves. We're not sure what we're going to get out of him or how long he's going to go at minus 165. It's just almost, the prices here have forced me into taking Texas at plus 140. And Martin Perez is a decent pitcher. So I kind of know what we're going to get. it's not even as if they've made it a pick 'em and you're choosing which side. I just think, and that's it. That's my handicap here. Hunter Brown might come out and be absolutely lights out. The Astros could get to Perez, the lefty, for 3 or 4 runs, as you've just said. They go well against the left-handed pitchers. But at the prices, you have to take Texas. Like sometimes that's what you're looking for as a better. It's not often we handicap sort of from. I feel like I've handicapped this from the bottom up rather than from the top down. Kind of a little bit. I don't know the word. I mean, it's kind of counterintuitive a little bit. Is that I've gone from the other way up. But yeah, that was my lead. I just think you have to. And Martin Perez is not a bad pitcher at all. So you've got a trusted pitcher going up against a rookie, and they want to give me 140, plus 140. So yeah, I'll take the plus 140. And I've got no problem being improved on. Hopefully Hunter Brown goes really well for you, Munaf, and then you have a fun evening at the park. 8:10 Eastern first pitch is the Cleveland Guardians at the Kansas City Royals. Tristan McKenzie will go for Cleveland, and for Kansas City, I've got Brady Singer going. He's officially TBD, but we do have lines, so the books must be fairly confident that Singer's going as well. Cleveland is minus 125. KC are plus 105. Total is set at 7.5. McKenzie is kind of the great hope now for Cleveland with Savali and Plesac hitting the IL for them. They need to get some wins under the belt, and McKenzie's someone they need to do it behind. He's 9-11 on the season with a 3.18 ERA. Has pitched 152 and 2/3 with 149 strikeouts. Brady Singer is 7-4, 3.33 ERA. Has pitched 121 and 2/3 with 124 strikeouts. McKenzie's been great, really consistent actually. He's leveled out at 248 in his last 5 starts. His last 4 have gone 2-3, 2 and 2. Singer also 232 in his last 5. Looks like a pitching duel. The extra half a run, this 7.5, means I'll happily take the under here. It looked like a 7 in a push. Looked a bit like the New York and the Minnesota line from earlier on. But 7.5, I think we can get on the right side of. Cleveland haven't scored many runs at all lately. And KC, as much as they've been competitive, still aren't a high octane offense. So I think this could be a good pitching duel, and we can see something like a 3-2 or even a 4-3 game, and we'll get the under 7.5. Muna.
Yeah, this is like a really good pitching matchup, like you mentioned. Tristan McKenzie has been going around really well, despite having a 9-11 record. They just haven't given him the run support. I mean, you take a look at the last 4 or 5 games: 1-0 loss to the Astros, 1-0 win against the Astros, 2-1 loss against the Toronto Blue Jays, 5-2 win against the White Sox, 3-1 loss against the Mariners last start, 4-0 loss to the Baltimore Orioles. So they just haven't given him that run support. And Brady Singer this season has been surprisingly very good for the Kansas City Royals, 7-4, a 3.33 ERA. This was in Kansas City, or is it in?
This is in Kansas.
Yeah. So
in Missouri, Munaf, as I was corrected
Missouri
last night by everyone in the Discord. Thank you, pedantic bastards.
I can understand the frustration there. But yeah, he's 6-2 at home as Brady Singer with a 3.01 ERA. He has gotten a little bit of trouble against the Guardians, but again, he's in great form. I agree 100% about the picture with the under in this game for this game between the Royals and the Guardians.
Okay, and the penultimate game is 9:38 first pitch between the Detroit Tigers and the LA Angels. Officially TBD for Detroit. I've got Tyler Alexander going for the Tigers, and Jose Suarez, left-handed pitcher, will go for the LA Angels. I think the books agree with me on Alexander. The Tigers are plus 155. The Angels are minus 180. Total here is set at 8.5. Munaf, Detroit at the Angels.
Yeah, Tyler Alexander, 3-8 on the season, 4.76 ERA, 37 strikeouts, 16 walks. Last 5 games has not been very pretty for him. 1-3 with a 5.96 ERA. He's prone to giving up runs, Malcolm. I mean, that's just what it is with this guy. Even on the road, he's 1-5 with a 6.51 ERA. Last start was against the Mariners. He gave up 2 earned runs and 4 2/3, and he went on to lose that game. The Tigers have lost 4 of his last 5 starts, and they've given up at least 5 earned runs in every single one of those starts when Tyler Alexander is on the mound. Looking at looking at the opposition here for this game for the Tigers, Angels. They're coming off a series against. They're going to be at home here, I believe. Yeah, so they have a series this weekend against the Astros. Jose Suarez on the mound, left-handed pitcher for the LA Angels on the season. He is 5-6 with a 4.10 ERA. He's been pretty good over his last 5 games. 3-2 with a 2.51 ERA. At home, 3-3 with a 4.54 ERA. Quickly want to see what the splits are for this team against left-handed pitching for the Detroit Tigers. Tigers are number 15, so they're about league average against left-handed pitching. I just don't trust Tyler Alexander in the situation, Malcolm. I mean, I read the numbers there. Not very pretty for him. I would possibly just look at the LA Angels run line here, -1.5, plus 125. As crazy as that may sound, I just don't trust the Tigers in the situation. Traveling the travel from the East Coast over to LA in this game, and I believe they were at home this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that. Yeah, they faced Kansas City, so now they have to go from Detroit to the West Coast. I'll take the Angels run line plus 125 in this game, Malcolm.
Tomorrow, Munaf, might be a day where you want to save your money because I've made the exact same pick as you again. Alexander's just he's had one really poor start, but the rest are no more than average. 5.96 ERA over his last 5 starts. Suarez has been okay. I've watched Suarez quite closely actually over the last one. Good if unspectacular. The Angels have been a little bit better lately as well. They got a 6-4 record over the last 10, and Detroit have kind of just gone back into their shells. They had a little purple patch in the middle of last week, or maybe it was the week before, where they scored a few runs, but they've just dropped off a little bit again, lost 2 in a row. So yeah, the Angels on the run line, plus 125, look like a really acceptable price for me to take there, Munaf. Finally, 10:10 Eastern first pitch is the San Francisco Giants at the LA Dodgers. Logan Webb will go for the Giants, and Andrew Heaney, the lefty, is on the bump for the Dodgers, who are -195 favourites. San Francisco on the road are plus 165. Totalia is set at 8.5. Munaf, good looking game. Giants at the Dodgers.
Yeah, Logan Webb has been a pitcher that I kind of want to back when he's pitching at home, because he is 8-5 with a 2.70 ERA. But they're going to be on the road here to LA, a small trip there, where he's 3-3 with a 3.12 ERA. Doesn't really differentiate, a lot of differentiation on that ERA, 2.7 at home, 3.12 at home. But I'll filter this down and see how he's done against the Dodgers at least. Let's go back to last season, since 2021. 1-1 with a 3.67 ERA. He's faced them about 5 times. Did have a start earlier this year on August 1st against the Dodgers, where the Dodgers got to him, 6 earned runs in 5 innings pitched. In that game, where the Dodgers went on to win it 8-2. Andrew Heaney on the mound. He's been pretty solid ever since he's been starting for this Dodgers team. 2-1 with a 2.12 ERA, 70 strikeouts, 12 walks for Andrew Heaney last 5 games. 1-1 with a 3.47 ERA at Dodger Stadium this season. 2-0 with a 1.05 ERA. So he's been going along very well. Let me see if he's faced the Giants this season. I doubt he has, because he hasn't. Actually, yeah, August 1st, he faced them. He threw 4 innings, only allowed 1 earned run, and that was the exact pitching matchup that's happening on Monday. That happened on August 1st between Logan Webb and Andrew Heaney, where, like I said, Dodgers went on to win that game 8-2. So I'm going to stay with the Dodgers here. I think they've just had great success against the Giants this season. I'm going to look at the head-to-head matchups as well. Against the Dodgers this season, yeah, the Dodgers are 10-3 against the Giants this season. So if we're going to bet on the Dodgers, just take the run line. Don't bother with the price. So give me the -1.5 plus 115 on the Dodgers run line for this game, Malcolm.
Oh, Munaf, you're never going to talk to me again after tomorrow. Everything you've just said, I can fax you through my notes. I've got them all down. Dodgers on the run. The Dodgers, I think, are going to win. And if you're going to pick the Dodgers to win, they always win on the run line. So yeah. The 2 things go hand in hand. So I don't see why anyone would be mucking about with the minus 195 on the Dodgers. If you're going to play them, just take them at the plus 115. Because if they do win, they'll win by over a run. So exactly the same handicap, Munaf, and exactly the same pick. So yeah, a little bit unnerving lockstep. I did say I was going to concentrate this week, Munaf. So 13 games in the bag there. Munaf, give us your lock and dog to set us off. We need a good. I mean, this is Vegas week, baby. You need to pack my spending money. You need to pad it out, and we can start doing that tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. I'll give. Let's go with a total. I really do like that over in that Twins and that Yankees game. Chris Archer, like I mentioned, he goes about 4 or 5 innings max to the Minnesota Twins. The Yankees had gotten to him earlier this season. Jameson Taillon, since the All-Star break, has not been very good for the Yankees either. So I think that this is an opportunity for both of the offenses to break out early in the day. It's going to be an early afternoon game. I think that we do see runs being put up. I know I've talked about how the Yankees offense just hasn't been doing very well, except for Aaron Judge. I think there's an opportunity for them against Chris Archer to do that in this game. So I'll take the over 8 runs as my lock between the Twins and the Yankees with Chris Archer and Jameson Taillon on the mound. For my dog, I'm going to go with that last game we just talked about. Give me the Dodgers run line, -1.5, plus 115. Andrew Heaney on the mound against Logan Webb. I mentioned the numbers. These two pitchers matched up on August 1st in San Francisco, where Dodgers won that game 8-2. Andrew Heaney has been better this season at home for the Dodgers as well. Logan Webb, a guy that I want to back at home, but again, he's on the road here in LA. So I'm going to take the Dodgers -1.5, plus 115. Added to the fact that the Dodgers are 10-3 against the Giants this season. So I'm going to take them as my dog on the run line, -1.5, plus 115, Malcolm.
Yeah, you've made a wise choice, and your lock is one that is contradicting my pick, because I took the under there. So you've managed to get yourself on some kind of firmer ground. My lock is I'm going to go to Colorado, and I'm going to take the under 11 in the Brewers-Rockies game. And really, it was the Freddie Peralta start that I'm going to take. I really do think it can go very well tomorrow. I'd actually handicapped that before I saw that one start that he's previously had in Colorado, where he went scoreless and struck out 13 batters as well. So that's just another tick in a box for me for that one. So I'll take the under 11 there. And for my dog, go to a game that we both agreed on recently, which was the LA Angels game, where they traveled at home to the Tigers. Not expecting anything really from Alexander. And like I say, the Angels have been a little bit better lately. Suarez has been a little bit better lately. I think they can be 2 runs better than the Tigers tomorrow. So I'll take the Angels on the run line at plus 125. And there, Munaf. Yeah, we're happy with that. It's a nice little wrap up to the show. The ERA and the whip have held, Munaf. So I'm now in the playoffs by 1 game as we speak. So live sweat there. What's happening the rest of the week, mate? Is it football?
Yeah, NFL starts Thursday, like you mentioned. It's NFL week. NFL Gambling Podcast. I did some extra episodes with the friends of the show, Ariel Epstein and Minty Betts. They joined me to do separate pods to give their take on the NFL season. And again, we'll be here for MLB all week long as usual. And I think that Malcolm is probably more giddy than I am for this upcoming week here. You could just people, or if you're watching the YouTube stream, you can see him smiling from ear to ear. You probably throw a banana into his mouth there. But yeah.
Of all the guests that you've spoken to this week, would you say I was the best looking?
Sorry, I can't go there.
No comment.
No, sorry.
Finish that sentence. What were you going to say?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Finish that sentence you had. Then I cut you off. What were you going to say?
Oh no! Just no comment.
Oh mate, you should get a job as a diplomat. Absolute cop out for minus 10,000 that Munaf's lied at this point. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, mate. good luck with our picks. I feel better about what heading into this week. So talking to you on a Sunday night always sets me up for the week moving off. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'll try and get some sleep tonight, and then I'll go and get my hair cut and make myself pretty for the good people in Las Vegas tomorrow. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for joining us. If you were in the chat and anyone who's going to listen to the show, we do really appreciate it. Discord is a great place to be, and all the contests and competitions that I mentioned during the course of the show, you may as well get involved. It's there's plenty of money up for grabs, so we do appreciate it. Good luck with all your bets. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, we will see you down the road. Cheers.